Salutations of the day. My name is Cassandra Mapanda, and thank you so much for joining my journey. Welcome to On the Journey with Cass, where we discuss mental, physical health, and lifestyle, among other things. Let's dive right into it. So I wanted to start this first episode with introducing myself and explaining to you guys why I've decided to use this platform to express my concerns for mental health and mental illness. So I have always been very interested in mental health and mental illness, not only because I have suffered from many mental illnesses of my own, but because I believe that discussing and engaging in conversations about mental illnesses may reduce the risks of suicides and lower the risks of suicides all over the world, especially in countries like Zimbabwe, where I'm from, where there's been really high risks of suicide lately due to the economic impacts and depression that have been hitting the youth. And I believe that by sharing my own story, I will not only be healing myself, but I will help heal others. And I know that often we feel that we're alone in all these feelings that we have, these negative feelings, but we must realize that we aren't alone, and that most of the time these dark feelings that we have, someone else has these. And I just hope that by sharing my own experiences, I can lend a light to someone else and I can offer a hand to someone else. Well, in therapy, we always believe in sharing one's history first before going on into therapy. So I believe the same thing. I'm going to tell you a bit about myself and about my family history. So I had a very lovely childhood, as it were. I grew up in a very small little town called Redcliffe in Kwekwe. You probably don't know Redcliffe, but you probably know Kwekwe. Or you probably don't know Kwekwe. But anyway, yeah, that's where I grew up. And I went to this cute little preschool called Shelley Hornby. Yeah, it's a horrible name. I don't even know what it means. But Shelley Hornby, and it was lovely. And I have such fond memories of my childhood. I remember my parents used to record everything. My siblings were lovely. I had a very solid foundation growing up, and my parents were very, very supportive. I went to primary school. I went to Goldridge Primary School. That was the best primary school in my town. It was a private school. I had a very good foundation, a very good education, very popular. And I'm not just saying that. No, I was popular, but like in a good popular, like in the good sense. I had good grades. I was a prefect. I was duck girl, which is head girl. Had all the cute boys, all that stuff, all the good stuff. And then things went south. When I went to high school, I thought my life was going to be better than it turned out to be. I got to high school and I had all these dreams because everyone in my family went to the same high school. They all went to Peterhouse. So Peterhouse girls and Peterhouse boys is a private school in Zimbabwe that is very prestigious and very la-di-da, like it's very la-di-da. At first it was very lovely. Like I remember arriving and I made many friends and it was all fun and games. But there was a lot of bullying going on and a lot of psychological torture is what I'm going to call it. It was a lot of psychological torture. And I think at first I didn't think any of it got to me, but I think in retrospect, I think some of it did get to me, because there's no way it wouldn't, because some of the things people said to me were a bit wild. Because I had an older sister who had gone there before and she was a prefect. So obviously they were a bit vindictive and like bitter about that. So they would put their frustrations on me because of that. So there was all that, and then they would like punish the whole entire block. A block is the form, aka the entire grade. The whole grade would be punished for my misdemeanor, which was not really a misdemeanor, just punished because of me and who I am, basically. So anyway, I went through that. And then I think it was in my third term of my first year in high school when I started having anxiety attacks. At first, I had no idea what they were. I just remember thinking, like, the world was there was gonna be a disaster. of some sort. Like I thought the world was going to be in a disaster, and I just remember being frantic and thinking the world was like in a disaster. And I remember a lot of these things are blurry. I think I have a tendency of forgetting stuff as a way of compartmentalizing, just a way of coping. So then it just got worse. Then I got depressed. Then I don't even really quite remember what happened, but I just downward spiraled, and I realized I actually wanted to leave. I didn't want to be at that school anymore, and I wanted to leave. So my parents, as bless their souls, were like, you know what? If the school's what's dragging you down, our dear, we'll move, we'll pack you up, and we'll go somewhere else. So I moved. I moved to Goldridge College. Goldridge College was the senior school to Goldridge Primary. Goldridge Primary was the primary school I'd gone to when I was in primary school. So I get to Goldridge College, everything is hunky-dory. I meet some of my friends from back in primary school. Everything is great. The teachers are nice. They think I should be the class monitor. They think I've got leadership skills. So everything seems like it's gonna work. And then, boof, wave of paranoia comes over me. I can only explain it as paranoia because I have felt depression and I have felt paranoia, and that was paranoia. I was paranoid. I was scared of everyone. I was scared of leaving home. I was scared of going to school. I thought everyone was out to get me. I thought everyone knew me. When I saw someone opening a newspaper, I thought they were opening it about me. It was horrible. It was honestly horrible. So that's happening, and I've only been at the school for 1 term. I tell my parents, Mom, Dad, I can't do it. I need to leave. I need to leave, and I need to leave now. So my parents are like, koda kuliva futhi uchangosvika, like uchapedza zvikoro zvingani. Translated, so you want to leave again? How many schools will you finish? Basically, I'm like, I don't know, but I just need to go. So I leave, but guess where I go? No, guess. I want you to guess. I go back to Pete House. I go back to Pete House because in my head now, I somehow, because obviously after Goldridge, I take a bit of a break, and then I believe that I have strength now and I can go back to Pete House and I'll be fine. So I get back to Pete House. Obviously, I get there. Some of those seniors are still there, and obviously they remember me as a loon because the last time they remember I was having anxiety attacks and falling on the floor and going through the most. Anyway, I'm like, I don't care. I'm gonna take this in my stride, and it does pass. Like that whole thing passes, and I fit in fine, and I think everything's okay, right? So now I'm in Form 2. That's Form 2. So Form 2 is done, and then Form 3 comes. Note, I'm on medication this whole time. I'm on medication. And when I say I'm on medication for depression and anxiety. But your girl is a bit stubborn. At this stage, I think when you're younger, people need to explain more. I don't know, teach you, make you understand the medication aspect more, and I feel like something needs to be done there. Because I didn't like my medication, and I didn't feel like it was necessary because I felt fine. I felt fine when I forgot it sometimes. And I didn't understand why the stand sister is the nurse who's on duty. I didn't understand why she was chasing me around and trying to like find me and make me take my meds. I just didn't get that. But she was chasing me around. So I had to take the meds, but I forgot sometimes, and this forgetting led to relapses, and these relapses were bad. So bad, the one time I remember running away from school and like being our school used to be by a national park. I was in the national park. Your girl ran into the national park. It's not funny, but it's funny. I was in the national park, and like people were looking for me with a bell. Like people were looking for me. It's not funny, but you know what? I think this is how I cope with my own illness. People cope differently. Humor is my, I don't know, it's just how I cope with certain things. So it was a paranoia, depression thing combined. And I didn't want to go to school, and now I wanted to leave again. And this was in Form 3. But obviously, my parents just like, dude, like, you've been leaving. So I think I just took a break off of school for like, I think a month, I don't know how long. But I took a break, and then I think I was threatened a bit. Like, I remember my mom threatening me a bit, like, we'll put you in a psychiatric home or something like that. And that was scary to me, that idea. And I remember being in hospitals a bit. But anyway, that was fine. After that, I went back to school. Now I'm in Form 4. No, now I'm still in Form 3. Now I become rebellious. Now, sickness aside, rebellion comes upon me. It is summoned. It's it's like one moment this girl's in hospital, the next thing she's being suspended. It's literally like, what in the world is going on? And it's only now, as an adult with my bipolar, that I look back. But that's a topic for later. That's the next episode. So tune in. But yeah. Anyway, so the rebellion started to seep in. So I was starting to get into trouble, doing naughty things, just being silly, getting suspended, being like naughty, man. It just didn't make sense. But anyway, fine, naughty things, but I'm enjoying high school. Almost done. We're almost at the finish line. We're almost about to finish and just graduate like a normal kid. But no, that doesn't happen. So now I'm in matric, basically. It's like grade 13 for other people. It's like your last year of high school. And I just, you see this pillow? I plummet into a slump. I don't remember if it was because I was not taking my medication. I don't remember what it was, but I just plummet. Take note, all through these depressions of mine, I'd forgotten this. But as usual, I always forget things that like hurt my feelings. But all through these depressions, I had tried to like end my life. I had tried to just like die. And I'd done it sometimes in front of other people, so I got in trouble for it. Like, man, I just been in holes, and my paranoia had just taken me into like wild places. And I was almost done. And then it happened. And I had A-levels coming up. A-levels are like your exams, like your most important exams. I obviously wouldn't be able to write those. So anyway, that happened, and I was paranoid. My parents came, the headmaster came, everyone came. They had to make the decision that obviously I had to go home. But what would happen after I go home? I was like, okay, I was like, I want to leave Peter House. I want to move schools because I was paranoid. I was like, I want to leave. I want to go somewhere no one knows me. Because in my head, I thought that people were out to get me again, and I wanted to go somewhere like no one knows me. There was this thing that I wanted to go somewhere no one knows me. I don't know. I can't make sense of it myself, but that was what was happening. I went to people knew me there still, but it was a bit better. I went to Regina Mundi High School in Gweru. It's a mission school. Mission schools and private schools are completely different. Mission schools have smarter people. Mission schools are less posh. Mission schools are stricter. There's a lot of differences, but like, yeah, I went to a mission school and they're less expensive. I chose to go to a mission school, which turned out to be awesome, but then I had to go a grade below. So I had to repeat fifth form, which was grade 11 or whatever. I had to go back a grade. That obviously sucked, but it was probably one of my the best decisions I've ever made in my life. It was a very great experience. I feel like I would not have been the person I am today if I hadn't gone to Regina Mundi. Period. Like, I feel like going to two different types of schools like that. My children are going to go to Mrs. Swan. Okay, now I'm off tracking. But yeah. So yeah, that's what happened in high school. And then I went to UCT. When I went to UCT, I was now off my medication. I was now practically healed. Everything was great. I didn't take my medication. I was going to gym. I was feeling good. I was flying. Everything was hunky-dory. And then 2019 knocked on my door. 2019. Uyinene passed. Xenophobia was knocking. And I was triggered. And I was hit with something I did not even know I was hit. At that point, I thought I was just hit by passion and rage. So I went and I was like, you know what? I want to do something about this. I'm going to start something called Reveal the Truth South Africa. And I'm going to get pads. I'm going to get things for women. And I'm going to donate it to people who need stuff. I'm going to become an I'm going to recruit people. I'm going to talk to other people so that they can also get involved. I'm going to DM my friends. I'm going to DM this person. I'm going to DM this person. So I went on a rampage. I'm sure you guys know this because I'm sure I've DM'd you. I've DM'd you and I've definitely DM'd you. I wasn't eating. I wasn't showering. I didn't shower for 8 days. I didn't eat for 8 days. I went through a voiceover without eating, without showering. I was crying in the voiceover. Luckily, it was a sad voiceover, so the crying worked. But there was a bit of a, it was pretty bad. And then luckily, my friend Rugare noticed something was wrong, so she was by my side for most of the the end, towards the end. And when I was near collapsing, they took me to hospital. And then when I got to hospital, I was sedated. And the next day, I woke up. I was sat next to a psychiatrist. And I was told I'm bipolar type 1. I was like, what? Bipolar type 1? I've heard the term bipolar. When people say, oh yeah, that person's bipolar, oh, he's so moody, he's bipolar, oh, she's so bipolar. So now I was in a 2-week therapy session learning about this new condition that I now had to live with for the rest of my life. And now I had a bunch of pills, which I will show you in our next episode, that I had to live with for the rest of my life. So it was just a lot, man. It was just a lot. And my dad had also flown down. Very sweet of him. He looked more shocked than I did. Not shocked. I don't even know if the word shocked. Sullen. And then 2020 came. 2020 came and Corona came, and that triggered me. I don't know. I think I'm triggered by catastrophes. It came in March. I was in the hospital for the whole of March. Oh, yeah. I also sent people a bunch of stuff. Why? I don't know why I sent people a bunch of stuff. I was manic, right? So, and now when and then last 2020, the end of 2020, hypermania came. But now this is not a downer. This is a good story. Hypermania tried to come, and I told her to. Hard, and it did, because I took myself to the hospital before it tried to get to me. Now we're in 2021, so the world's my oyster. And I'm excited for what the year has to bring. I hope you've enjoyed this mental health history check. I look forward to seeing you, and please can you also introduce yourselves to me in the comments below, and please like, share and subscribe. And I hope you're looking forward to more content. More episodes are coming your way. Like, share, and subscribe.